Welcome to our meditation time together, and I'm happy to be here with you. One of the aspects of meditation that is obvious if it's pointed out is that most people, when they decide to meditate, do something different with their bodies. They bring their bodies to a particular place, they place their bodies in a particular posture, and it's one of the first things we do is bring our body along. And if that can easily be overlooked, but the tremendous value on the body's role in meditation and in life in general is one of the things that Zen and Vipassana have in common. And in all my practices of Zen, and there was this kind of implicit and at times explicit way in which it involved a growing center of gravity, center of life being rooted in the body, not in the mind. And in Vipassana, the same thing. One of my teachers in Thailand made an aside at the end of a Dharma talk one day. The talk had ended and people were leaving, and he kind of looked up and said, "Oh, and by the way, don't do anything that takes you away from your body." And to go back to the teachings of the Buddha, he stresses over and over again how important mindfulness of the body is. Now, mindfulness of the body, that little word "of," is a little bit ambiguous. It can mean, for some people, that there's attention. Attention is directed to the body, and therefore it's of the body. But another way of understanding it is that mindfulness of the body is the body's mindfulness. That becomes a little bit clearer if we translate the word for mindfulness, that's the word sati. I don't know if it's really mindfulness is the best translation into English, and I often prefer the word awareness for it. And so we understand that mindfulness of the body is the body's awareness. And we're beginning to center ourselves in the experience the body has of our life, the way the body is aware of itself. And this is a wonderful shift out of being mind-centric, or thinking-centric, which is where many people live their lives, and to shift and have the center of our lives not our thoughts. The thoughts have still a very important part of life, but not have them at the center, and have the body at the center. And the body is a place where we have direct experience, much more so than if we just think about things. So training to be present for the body's experience of itself. So to begin this meditation, I'll do a little warm-up in a sense, and then I'll do a little exercise of mindfulness, the body's mindfulness, body's awareness, that maybe gives you a feeling for how this entering into the body in a deeper way, to be aware of breathing even, can operate. So to assume a meditation posture that's appropriate for you. And that posture is also a little bit of an attitude, a posture that has an attitude of attentiveness, of being embodied, so there can be a rootedness, a intentionality in being here, in and with the body. So the body is just not an aside to be made comfortable and forgotten. The body is, in a sense, the meditation hall, the temple. And some of you will feel more comfortable with the eyes open in meditation, and some of you can gently close your eyes. It might be nice to take a few long, slow, deep breaths to settle in. Maybe extending the exhale to allow for greater release in the body. Really relax on that exhale. Exhaling and letting the shoulders soften. The belly relax. And then letting your breathing return to normal. And taking a few moments to become aware of the body's experience of itself. As if awareness is not up in the control tower, but awareness lives in the body. An awareness that's closely associated with sensations, or more precisely, the sensing of the sensations. And as an exercise, bring your attention into your left hand and become aware of the sensations in your left hand. There might be coolness and tingling and warmth, pulsing, vibration. There might be a contact of the hand against another part of your body, pressure and weight. Feeling the sensations in your hand, in your palm of your hand, the back of your hand, in your fingers. And allow the hand to have its own experience, as if the hand is getting to know itself, feeling and sensing the sensations by which we know the hand. Perhaps for this exercise, it's useful to close your eyes if they're open, so that the only real data coming in for the hand is in the hand itself. We don't see the hand, we just feel it. And with the eyes closed, maybe there's no clear sense of a boundary of the hand. Within the buzzing, changing, shifting sensations that make up the hand has open boundaries. Just the hand. And you might have ideas about your hand, thoughts and histories and memories of your hand. But that is to bring those up. It means to go back into the mind. And there's a way in which, putting all that aside, there's a generosity in allowing the hand to be just as it is at this moment. In a sense, no future, no past, no judgments, just the sensations of the hand. Some pleasant, some unpleasant, are allowed to be just as they are. And now, shift your awareness, your attention, to where in your body you usually experience your breathing. And not so much that you are focusing on the breathing from the control tower, but rather you're becoming aware of the general area in your body where you tend to experience breathing. And as you are feeling the hand, feel this general area, the sensations that are there. Some sensations might be closely connected to the experience of breathing, but there might be other sensations there. And let that part of the body have its own experience of what's happening there. Noticing the particular sensations that come into play, that appear and disappear. And how that area of your body maybe has no clear boundaries in awareness, in its own experience. It's kind of open boundaries, allowing the sensations permission to be there, with no future and no past, where we're not centered in our thoughts and judgments about it all. Those can recede to the background, and instead to let the center of experience be the body's experience of breathing. And if you find yourself drifting off in thought, very simply recognize that's happening, and recognize how it's taken you away from the immediacy of your embodied experience of breathing. And then begin again, centering yourself in your body, in the breathing body. Where the boundaries to the body's experience of breathing is open and can, in fact, include all other things happening in your body. maybe peripherally. Nothing is held, nothing is pushed away or denied, but centered in the body, in the breathing, allowing the body to have its own experience, breathing with it all, breathing in and breathing out. you in the control tower of thinking, or are you in your body? What happens if you center yourself in the body and the experiences the body is having? The immediacy of the body with no before and after, just now. And as we come to the end of this meditation, for the next few out breaths, as you exhale, relax your body further. Release any holding in your face, any holding in your shoulders, in your chest and your belly. And if there's any global way in which you're bracing yourself against life, perhaps at the end for a few breaths, can you relax that? And relax into your body more fully. And when we're relaxed in our body, at ease and at home in our body, it can give us a greater capacity for kindness, friendliness, goodwill, and to consider at the end of this sitting, how is it that the benefits of this meditation, or the challenges of this meditation can inspire you to contribute to the betterment of our world. That the deep letting go of meditation is not to take us away from the world, but to be more open, aware of this world that we live in, and to care. May it be that we contribute to the welfare and happiness of others. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free. And as we relax deeply into our own bodies, freeing it from our tensions and tightness and holdings, may we support others to do the same. May all beings be free. So one of the surprises and treasures of practicing Buddhism for me has been a growing and still growing um, uh, delighting or valuing the body, the experience of the body. And there's a difference between what I just said between the body and the experience of the body. And I think at the heart of what is most significant for Dharma practitioners is the experience of the body more than the body itself. And it's hard to separate out these two things, the body and the experience of it. But this is at the center of kind of the tremendous appreciation that the Buddha, and I think much of Buddhism has, with being really centered or connected to one's body, is that it's not the body as a physical object, as a physical thing, but rather the experience the body has of itself. And we see in the ancient teachings of the Buddha that he used at times different words if he was referring to the physical body in and of itself, or the experienced body, the body that we can experience. And so the physical body, one of the words for his physical body in ancient language is sarira, S-A-R, I think I-R-A, and in Sanskrit it's sharira. And it's often translated into English as a relic of someone who's died, and that bone or some kind of little something left over from the cremation. And it's a long custom in different schools of Buddhism to save these relics and maybe put them on the altar. And sometimes the word sharira is used actually to refer to a corpse. But it's what it refers to also for a living person is the pure physical body itself. The word that's used for, especially in meditation practice, that's used for body is kaya, Kaya. And people who do Zen practice know this word because it's often chanted. There's Nirmanakaya, there's Sambodhakaya Baya, and the Dharmakaya. And this word kaya in the earliest teachings, when it's talking about the meditator, it refers to the body as it's experienced. And how we experience the body is partly dependent on the state of our mind. That, and this is a fascinating part of being a meditator, is to feel how the state of the mind changes and the experience of the body changes. And sometimes even the posture will change depending on how concentrated the mind becomes, how focused and still and quiet. And if the mind stops becoming claustrophobic and caught up in its thinking and thoughts, but becomes spacious and open and more quiet and soft, it can have a huge transformation in how we experience the body. And the experienced body can often become soft and transparent, or very soft boundaries, or no boundaries at all. And even sometimes the feeling of the body can disappear entirely in meditation. I've actually opened my eyes in meditation to see if the physical body was still there, because with the eyes closed there was no evidence of it. The mind was so still and so quiet. And this interplay between the mind and the body is so intimate that in Buddhism there's a tendency not to make a strong duality between the mind and the body, but to see them kind of as a unified whole. And one of the places that unified whole plays out is in the emphasis on being present for the body's experience of itself. An experience which is not exactly right to say it that way, but an experience which is conditioned on the quality state of the mind. And of course it goes the other direction as well, that the state of the body affects the mind. If we're in a lot of pain, that can have a big impact on the mind. We can get contracted, we can get caught up in certain thoughts and judgments and fears and projections and all kind. But it's not necessarily so. And one of the great lessons I had from sitting Zazen, where at Zen Center, where I wasn't supposed to move, I would have a lot of knee pain. And I noticed after a while that the pain actually got worse if I had self-pity for myself. I think, what was happening was these little micro muscles would tighten up when I had the self-pity. And the only way that I could manage with the pain was if I let go of my self-pity. And then these little micro muscles would relax, and then the pain was manageable. And I found that the less I got caught up in my thoughts and my reactivity in my mind and my projections and into the future, what this all meant, that the pain in and of itself got simpler and simpler and simpler. And to have a simplicity of physical pain without the add-on of reactivity showed me how much the experience of pain was a product of the quality, the state, activity of my mind. Not all of it, of course. And the Buddha himself said that when there's extreme pain, then it's the pain of the sarira, the pain of the corpse, of the pure physical body. But many times these two are, the mind and the body have such a big interplay with what we experience as pain and discomfort and all kinds of things in the body that, and so one of the things we do in Vipassana practice is learn to center ourselves in the body, to really allow ourselves to experience it, and the body's experience of itself. And as we do so, it has an impact back on the mind, and because these two are so closely related. And it has a huge impact on the mind. In fact, the conditioning and the shifting and changing of the bodily experience is a reconditioning of the neurotic mind or the fearful mind or the traumatized mind even. And so to begin to soften and relax. And so the Buddha was very explicit about this. He talked about cultivating a mindfulness of the whole body, opening up and becoming aware of the whole body, not just the body that's breathing, but the whole body, kind of like a global experience of this body's experience of itself. And a global experience is one where the mind is not contracting or fixating on any particular thing or creating a boundary to the body, but just kind of open to experience it all. The Buddha also talked about, as the mind does get settled and concentrated, that if there's any feelings of well-being that well up, feelings of joy and happiness, that to take and spread that throughout the body and allow those feelings to spread. And so the experience of the body begins shifting dramatically. And I think this is partly in Mahayana what's being referred to in the three bodies of the Buddha, that there are three different ways of experiencing the body depending on what's happening in the mind and the mind state that we have. And it becomes such a delight, such a joy to rest and experience these kind of, the body becomes freer and freer, a liberated body. There is an ancient Mahayana sutra that emphasizes that liberation doesn't happen in the mind, it happens in the body. That the awakening is an embodied experience more than a mental experience. But in fact, what we know now is that you can't really separate these two, the mind and the body. So in Vipassana practice, one of the ways that, there's many ways in which the mindfulness of the body is practiced, but one of the ways is to bring the kind of attention that I suggested to you in that exercise with the hand, to bring that to whatever is the compelling physical experience of the moment. If there's some predominantly compelling experience in the body, either pleasant or unpleasant, that's more compelling than the breathing, then it's fine to let go of the breathing, not keep that focus, but bring the same kind of careful attention, careful kind of sensing and feeling into that part of the body that has its strong sensations. And what happens is if over time, different parts of the body will speak up and show itself. And it's kind of like doing body work over months and years. And by bringing this careful attention, just opening the attention, allowing the sensations to be there, not reacting, not forcing them, not spending too much time relaxing around it either, just feeling and sensing. And slowly the body begins to wake up and become more aware and more sensory, sensate, a sentient body, as opposed to a conceived body, a body that we're thinking about. So much of our physical self-consciousness has to do with ideas and images about what the body should be like or can be like, and comparison of my body with other people's bodies. And it can be so much pain that goes on in our society around body and skin color and all kinds of things having to do with the body. And meditation is one of the ways to free ourselves, at least personally, from all these ideas, comparative thinking and concepts, and allowing the awareness of the body arise from the inside out. And we find out the body is much happier than often we are, much more content when it flows and we have the experience from the inside out. So mindfulness of the body is the body's awareness of the body is the body's awareness. And one of the things in meditation practice is to learn to abide or rest in that experience of the body. When it's the most compelling part of it, or the center of it, we can stay with the breathing, because it's an embodied experience to breathe. and breathe with all things. Breathe with the body, all of the body. So I hope this made some sense, and I hope it also points to one of the places where Zen and Vipassana overlap. In some ways, this emphasis on body and the importance of it in the practice, and in the kaya, and maybe what we can call our own Dharma kaya. So, thank you all very much.